Yes, a very good morning to all my dear students. Today, once again, on behalf of Bruha Mumbai Municipal Corporation Education Department, I welcome you all for the statewide online lectures. Today, we are going to see the chapter number 4 from Science Part 2nd, that is Environmental Management. Myself, Mrs. Samina Ibrahim Kazi, and today we are going to cover up the topics, that is, we are going to learn about ecosystem, the relationship between environment and ecosystem. Okay, so let's begin our today's chapter, that is environmental management. So you all know that environment plays a very important role in our life. We all are being surrounded by different living and the non-living factors of the environment, and we all are dependent on them. So it's our prime duty. The human being plays a very important role in conserving, in managing the environment. Okay, so environmental management, it can be defined as the management of the interaction and impact of human activities on the natural environment. Okay, so here in this chapter we are going to learn more about what is ecology, what are the living factors, what are the non-living factors, how they interact with each other, how they are being dependent on each other, and what is the role of human being in managing the environment. So let's begin our today's chapter, that is environmental management. So the very first concept it starts, that is the ecosystem. So what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a community of living organisms interacting with each other and their non-living environment. Okay, as I said you in the introduction, that ecosystem, it is the community which is formed with the help of the living organisms and the non-living organisms and their interaction. Okay, their interaction, it forms a ecosystem. So if we talk about an ecosystem, so it is made up of the living things like the plants, animals and bacteria, as well as it is made up of the non-living things such as the sun, rocks and the soil. Okay. So in short, what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a community of living organisms interacting with each other and their non-living environment. Okay. So if we broadly classify the ecosystem, the structure of ecosystem, we can say that the ecosystem is dependent on two components. One is called as the biotic components and the other one is called as the abiotic components. Now, as I said you, the biotic components, it is the living components as like the producers, consumers like the herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and decomposers. These things you have already learnt in 9th standard. Herbivores means who? Those animals which can consume their food, okay, which are dependent on the, as we can say that they take the directly the food, okay, so they are called as the herbivores. Carnivores means those who depend, those who consume their food from the herbivores, okay. In the same way, omnivores, these are the animals which can feed on the herbivores as well as the carnivores. And the last one, that is the decomposers. Okay, the decomposers, they decompose, they break down all the living components. Okay, so they are the biotic components. It includes the producers, the consumers like the herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and decomposers. In the same way, the abiotic components. The abiotic components include air, soil, sunlight, and water. So if we learn about these biotic components, the biotic factors, these are the living components of the ecosystem and their activities. Okay, the biotic components of the ecosystem includes the producers, which are called as autotrophs. Autotrophs means those living organisms or those living things which can prepare their own food, like the plants, okay, with the help of the process of photosynthesis. So they are called as the producers because they are capable of making their own food, okay. In the same way, the biotic components include the consumers, which are called as the heterotrophs, means those who depend on other living organisms for their food. So they are called as the heterotrophs or they are called as the consumers. Then the last one, that is the decomposers. Okay, they decompose and they obtain their food. Okay, so the biotic components include the producers, consumers, and the decomposers. In the same way, the abiotic factors, these are the non-living components of the ecosystem. Okay, these are the non-living components of the ecosystem, just like the wind, sunlight, soil, temperature, atmosphere, and water. See, even if they are being non-living components, but they are being essential. Okay, they are being needed by whom? By the biotic factors. So in short, if we define the biotic and the abiotic components of the ecosystem, so the abiotic components are usually the non-living components of our ecosystem, which are sun, rainfall, temperature, air, and soil. Okay, these are the non-living components of our ecosystem, and so they are called as the abiotic components. In the same way, the biotic components, these are made up of organisms like the living organisms, dead organisms, and the waste products of these. Okay, the biotic components, they are made up of the organisms, living organisms, dead organisms, and the waste product of these. So the biotic factors, they have to rely on the abiotic factors to survive. Okay, either they are plants or they are being animals. They are being completely depend on the abiotic factors for their survival. Okay, so there is a strong, we can say they are being strongly dependent on each other. Okay, so an ecosystem, it is formed by the biotic and the abiotic factors and their interactions with each other. Okay, if we talk about an ecosystem, it is including both. It is formed by the biotic as well as the abiotic factors and their interactions. Okay, their interactions plays a very important role in the ecosystem. So here the producers like the plants, they are being very, very important. As I said you that the plants, they are the autotrophs. Why they are called as autotrophs? Because they use the sunlight and they use the stored energy in the form of chemical compound and to make the energy rich compounds. Okay, so they are called as the producers. They are also called as autotrophs because they are self capable of preparing their own food. Okay, so producers like the plants, they are very, very important. Examples like the grass, trees, and algae. In the same way, in an ecosystem, the herbivores like the deer, goats, sheep, cattle, horses, camels, etc. They are also very, very important. Okay, these herbivores, what they eat? They eat mainly the plants. Okay, this includes the leaves, grass, flowers, seeds, roots, fruits, bark, pollen, and much more. Okay, so they are completely dependent on plants for their food. Okay, so they also play a important role in the ecosystem. Then the predators like the lion and the tiger, which prevent the overpopulation of the herbivores, are also equally important. Now, firstly, the question comes, what are predators? Predators are the organism that hunts or kills and eats other organisms like the prey to survive. Okay, means these are the, we can say that these are quite bigger animals which hunt the smaller animals. Okay, like the lion and the tiger. What they do? They hunt the small animals and they eat. Okay, so they prevent the overpopulation of the herbivores. Okay, so they are also equally important. What is prey? Prey is an organism which is being hunted or it is taken as a food. Okay, so such a uh, such small animals we can call them as a prey. Okay, understood what is the difference between predators and prey? Predators are the bigger animals. We can say them that they are quite bigger animals. They are stronger. These are the organisms that hunts the smaller organisms like the prey. Okay, and prey are the organisms which are being hunted and which are being taken as a food. So then, what is a food chain? A food chain shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem. Okay. Firstly, we have seen what is an ecosystem. Then we have seen what are the producers. Then what are the herbivores. What are the predators. Now let us see what is a food chain. A food chain is shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem. Now you will say how the transfer of energy takes place. See, energy is transferred between the organisms when one organism eats another. A food chain is a simple linear series of steps while a food web is more complex. Okay, in the food chain the interactions goes on continuously between the producers, consumers and saprophytes. Okay, here you can see that there is a interaction which is going on continuously between the producers, consumers and the saprophytes. There is a definite sequence in this interaction which is called as the food chain. Okay, it is the simple chain which shows the transfer of energy from one living organism to the another. Okay, so food chain is a series of events in which one organism eats another and obtains its energy. Okay, as you all know that all living organisms, either they are small or big ones, they require the energy to carry out their daily activities. So in order to get the energy, what they do? They eat the small creatures. Okay. So here in the food chain, the transfer of energy is done from one living organism to the another. Okay. A food chain shows one possible path along which energy can move through an ecosystem. See here the example. Here the plants are the producers. They are eaten by the small insects. They are called as the herbivores or they are called as the primary consumers. Okay. Then these herbivores, these insects, they are eaten up by the mouse. Mouse is called as the omnivore or it is called as the secondary consumer. Then this mouse can be eaten up by the owl, that is the carnivore or it is called as the tertiary consumer. And this owl, when once it dies, it will get buried in the soil and again the energy will be given back to the soil. So here you can see that the transfer of energy, it is in a simple series. Okay, it is in a simple chain like. Okay, so in this way it is called as the food chain, that is the transfer of energy from one living organism to the another. Then what is a food web? An organism may be the prey for many other organisms. For example, An insect feeds upon the leaves of various plants, but the same insect is the prey for different animals like the frog, wall lizard, birds, etc. So it will form an intricate web instead of a linear food chain. Such an intricate network, it is called as the food webs. Okay, what that it is the possibility that an organism, if it is a prey, then it can be eaten up by several other organisms. Okay, several different animals like the frog, wall lizard, birds, etc. So instead of forming a simple chain, it will form an intricate web. Okay, so such a web, it is called as the food web. Understood the difference between food chain and food web? Food chain, it is a simple series of transfer of energy from one living organism to the another. But here in the food web, there are the possibilities that one small creature, one small living organism, it can be eaten up by many other living organisms. Okay. So instead of forming a simple chain, instead of forming a simple series, it will form a web-like structure, and so it is called as the food web. Okay. So in short, we can define the food chain. It is the single flow of energy, whereas a food web is interconnected path of energy. Okay. The food chain, it is a single flow of energy, whereas the food web, it is the interconnected path of energy. Okay. So the difference between the food chain and the food web. The food web show how the plants and the animals are interconnected by different paths. Okay, the food web, it shows us that how the plants and the animals, they are being interconnected by the different paths. Okay, for example, the trees produce acorns which produce food for mice and insects. Okay, so trees, they can serve as a food. The acorns which are being produced by the trees, they are being served as a food for the mice as well as for the insects. So it forms a food web. Here, the food chain follows a single path as animals eat each other. Okay. In the food chain, there is a simple single path through which one animal eats the another one. Okay. For example, cow eats the grass, shark eats the sill. Okay, so this is a simple path. So I hope that you have understood what is the difference between food chain and food web. Now, a question may arise in your mind that whether the caterpillars which are found in nature, organisms present in the fleety places like the termites, insects present in the dung, are they really useful? Yes, this might be a question in your mind that these organisms, just like the caterpillars, just like the termites or the insects, are they being useful? Yes, the answer to your question is that yes, they are being very, very useful. Why? Because these are the decomposers. What they do? They decompose the organic into inorganic material. Okay. What they do? These organisms, they are of great importance. They are responsible for cleaning the environment. Okay. The decomposers, what they do? They feed upon the remains of the other animals. The decomposers, they play an important role in the ecosystem. By digesting the dead matter, they put nutrients back into the soil, making them available to the producers. Okay, so the decomposers play a very vital role in the ecosystem, because if they are not being present, then who will digest the dead matter? Who will put up the nutrients back into the soil? Yes, so the decomposers are of a great importance because they are responsible for digesting the dead matter and putting back the nutrients into the soil and making them available to the producers. Okay, so the decomposers examples like the worm, mushroom, insects, and bacteria. Okay, so it means that our existence is due to these factors present around us. Hence, we should care for these factors. Okay. So our existence, it is because of these all factors. Either they are being the producers, they are being the herbivores, they are being the predators, or we can say the decomposers. So these all factors, they are being essential for our survival. So it's our quite duty that we should be taking care of all this. Okay, so we should care for these factors. Now the next point, that is the jivo jivasya jivanam. Jivo jivasya jivanam. Now what is this? It means us that one living entity is food for another in the existence for, in the struggle for existence. Okay, what? One living entity, one living organism is a food for another one in the struggle for existence. Okay, so it is a very important concept which can be observed around us. So let us take an example of a lion, deer, and grass. The lion eats the deer eats the grass, and the lion, when it dies, it is converted into nutrients and it is given up back to the soil, which is consumed by the grass. So isn't it like a chain, right? It is like a cycle. What? The lion, deer, and grass. If we take these three basic examples, so here you can see that the lion eats the deer eats the grass, and when the lion it dies, it is buried into the soil, and whatever the nutrients which are present in its body, they are being mixed up into the soil and it is consumed by the grass. So again there is the growth of the grass. So here you can see that it is a cyclic flow. Okay, this says us that every living thing, it depends on some other living thing for its survival. Okay, so it is called as jivo jivasya jivanam. Now, a flow chart is given in your book which can explain you more easily how the ecosystem can be broadly classified. Okay, the flow chart of the ecosystem. So we will learn it step by step. Firstly, the ecosystem, it can be broadly classified or it is broadly dependent on two components. One is called as the abiotic components and the other one called as the biotic components. Okay, so first let us see what are the abiotic components. The abiotic components, they are of two types. Either they are physical factors or they are the chemical factors. So physical factors include air, water vapors, then minerals, soil, and sunlight. Whereas the chemical factors, it includes the nutrients and the minerals. Then these chemical factors, they can be of two types. Either they can be inorganic substances or they can be of organic compounds. So the inorganic substances, examples are like the hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, iron, sodium, and potassium. In the same way, the organic compounds, they include proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Okay, so these all come under the category of abiotic components. Then the next point, that is the biotic factors or the biotic components. So the biotic components, they are mainly of two types. Either they are autotrophic or they are heterotrophic. Okay, autotrophic includes the producers like the plants. Okay, autotrophs, they are only of one type, that is the producers. Examples like the plants. Whereas the heterotrophic, it is broadly classified into two categories. One is called as the consumers and the other one called as the decomposers. The consumers includes mainly the animals, okay? And the decomposers, these are the small microbes, or we can say the small creatures, okay? That is the microorganisms, okay? Then these consumers, these animals, they can be of three types. Either they can be primary consumers, secondary consumers, or the tertiary consumers, okay? So I hope that you understood how the ecosystem it is being broadly classified. So this is the flow chart. There may be the possibility that some points may be given to you in the flow chart and some of them are supposed to fill up. So it's better you take a screenshot of it and you can fill up in your textbook. Okay. So this is about the classification of ecosystem. Now you all know that paddy is cultivated on a large scale in the various states of South India. Yes, paddy fields, the different kinds of different varieties of food grains. India is said to be an agro-based nation. Yes, an agro-based country. Why? Because people are mostly engaged in doing the agriculture. So here you can see the paddy fields. It is cultivated on a large scale in the various states of South India. Paddy fields are frequently attacked by the grasshoppers. Okay, these fields, these crop fields, they are being continuously attracted. They are being attacked by the grasshoppers. Similarly, the frogs are also present in a large number in the mud of paddy fields. Right, the frogs are also being. You can see they are being continuously present in the paddy fields to feed upon the grasshoppers. Why these frogs are being present? They eat the grasshoppers. Okay. Whereas these frogs they are being eaten up by the snakes. So snakes are also being present uh, in this paddy fields. So here you can see that the grass they serve as a producers. This grass they are eaten up by the grasshoppers which are called as the primary consumers. Then this grasshopper they are being eaten up by the frogs which serve as a secondary consumer. And these frogs they are being eaten up by the tertiary consumers like the snake. So what will happen if this frog, if the population of the frog it goes on decreasing? If any one of this, if its population decreases, then it will have an impact on the another one. Okay, so it is like that they are being interdependent on each other. They are being of equal importance. Okay, so it forms a chain-like structure. So producers are equally important for the primary consumer, for the primary consumers. The primary consumers are of that importance for the secondary consumers, and the secondary consumers are of more importance for the tertiary consumers. Okay, so it's like a chain. Okay, so they are being of equal importance. Now we will learn the relationship between environment and ecosystem. What is the relationship between environment and ecosystem? So firstly, a simple definition of environment. What is the how environment is defined as? Environment means the surrounding and everything that affect an organism during its lifetime. It is known as its environment. Okay, as you all know that we are being surrounded by different living as well as the non-living factors of the environment, right? So these are togetherly they are called as a environment. Okay, so environment it is the sum total of air, water and land and the interrelationships among themselves and also with the human being, other living organisms and the property. Okay, so this is the sum total of all the living factors as well as the non-living factors and their interrelationship. Okay, just a simple example, can we survive without air? No, we need to breathe, right? So we need fresh air. Can we survive without water? No, we require water, right? So even if we are living organisms, we have to depend, we have to rely on the non-living factors. And so it is said that environment is the sum total of the living as well as the non-living organisms and their interactions. Okay, so the simple definition of environment. So environment is a broad concept, physical, chemical and biological factors affecting the living organisms in any possible way is collectively called as the environment. So in short, environment is the condition in surrounding. It includes many biotic and abiotic, natural and artificial factors. Okay, this environment, it is made up of biotic, abiotic, natural and artificial factors. So if we need to classify the environment, so environment is mainly of two types. One is called as the natural environment and the other one it is called as the artificial environment. So the natural environment, like the underground surface nature of the state, including the abiotic surrounding, it and every living creature on the earth, it comes under the category of natural environment. Whereas the artificial environment includes the air, water, soil, waste, then voice, vibration, odor, such as helping people in the everyday life and relationships. This all comes under the artificial environment. So let us see more about natural environment. Natural environment consists of air, atmosphere, water, land, living organisms, etc. Continuous interactions occur between the biotic and the abiotic factors. So their interactions are of very important. Okay, as this natural environment, it includes the air, atmosphere, land, water, and the living organisms. And these living organisms, they have a continuous interaction with the non-living organisms. Okay, so this forms an natural environment. Sunlight, air, soil, rock, minerals, water, etc. These are the biotic factors. Air also interacts with the plants, helping them grow in providing a source of carbon dioxide and other nutrients. In general, the abiotic factors like the rock, soil and water interact with the biotic factors in the form of providing nutrients. Okay, as I said you before this also, that the abiotic factors, they are of equal importance because the biotic factors, they rely on the abiotic factors for their nutrients, for obtaining their food. Okay, so they are of equal importance. Then the artificial environment is also affecting the natural environment directly or indirectly. Okay, so this artificial environment is also having its effect on the natural environment, either it is directly or indirectly. So the science that deals with the study of interactions between the biotic and the abiotic factors of the environment, it is called as ecology. What is ecology? It is the branch of the science which deals with the study of interactions between the biotic and the abiotic factors of the environment. Okay. So here in the blue words, you can see these are the abiotic factors like the air, carbon dioxide and oxygen, whereas the words which are written by the red, they are biotic factors like the mammals, birds, reptiles, microorganisms, plants, insects. Okay, so there is a branch of science which deals with the study of interactions between the biotic and the abiotic factors of the environment. So basic functional unit used to study the ecology, it is called as the ecosystem. So environment consists of many ecosystems. Studied some ecosystems in earlier classes. A small pond is an ecosystem. whereas the earth is the largest ecosystem. In brief, biotic and abiotic factors occupying a definite geographical area and their interactions collectively constitute the ecosystem. Okay, in short, how we can define the ecosystem? It includes the biotic and the abiotic factors and their interactions. They they occupy a definite geographical area and there they interact with each other. Okay, they depend on each other. So such an system it is called as the ecosystem. So you know that environmental balance is maintained through continuous operations of various natural cycles like the water cycle, carbon cycle, gaseous cycles like the nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, etc. So environmental balance is also maintained due to various food chains of ecosystem. See, the environment, it has to be maintained, it has to be kept into balance, and for that purpose various cycles they are being continuously performing their functions like the water cycle. So in the water cycle you have learned this water cycle earlier. In the water cycle, how it can be defined, that the water which is being present on the surface of the land either in the form of rivers, in the seas, in the oceans, so they are being heated up by the sun rays. The water, it gets evaporated, it gets changes to gas during the process of evaporation. Then this water, it is then collected in the form of clouds during the process of condensation. And this condensation further, it comes down, this clouds, when they come down in the form of rain, so this water, it is again given back to the surface of the earth, either in the seas, in the rivers, oceans and all. Okay, so it is a continuous flow of, we can say that water is continuously formed, it is like a cycle. Okay, so such cycle, that is the water cycle, it is also being present on the earth. In the same way, the carbon cycle. Plants convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. Similarly, they produce the carbon compounds like the proteins and fats too. Herbivores feed upon the plants, carnivores feed upon the herbivores. So in this way, the biotic carbon, it is transported from the plants to the herbivores and from the herbivores to the carnivores and from the carnivores to the apex consumers. Okay, so here you can see it is a cyclic flow of carbon which is also continuously going on the surface of the earth. In the same way, there is the nitrogen cycle. You all know that the maximum portion of the atmosphere, that is 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, right? But this nitrogen, it cannot be utilized directly by the plants. It has to be converted into its compounds. So this, for conversion of this for the conversion of this atmospheric nitrogen into its compounds, several nitrogen fixation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. These are the several processes which are being performed to convert the atmospheric nitrogen into its compound so that it can be used up. Okay, so this nitrogen cycle also is a part of an ecosystem. In the same way, oxygen cycle. Oxygen forms 21% of the atmosphere. It is also present in the hydrosphere and lithosphere. Circulation and recycling of oxygen within the biosphere, it is called as the oxygen cycle. Okay, what, as you know that oxygen, it is being very necessary, right? We need oxygen. So this oxygen, it is highly reactive and it readily reacts with other elements and compounds. As oxygen is found in the various forms like the molecular oxygen O2, water like H2O, carbon dioxide like CO2, inorganic compounds, etc. The oxygen cycle of the biosphere is extremely complex. Oxygen is released in the process of photosynthesis, whereas it is used up in the processes like respiration, combustion, decomposition, corrosion, and rusting, etc. So this oxygen cycle also plays an important role in the ecosystem so as to maintain the environmental balance. In the same way, the various food chains, they are also being responsible for maintaining a balance in the environment. Just like here, you can see the sample food chains, the primary producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, quaternary consumers. So they are forming a food chain so that they can maintain the balance of our environment. Okay. So, human existence is totally impossible without the existence of nature. Okay, you all know that we have learned up till now that the human existence, it is completely dependent on the nature. So it's our prime duty, it's our responsibility to preserve the nature, right? It is our responsibility to preserve the nature without disturbing its balance. Okay, because it is said that we have got this earth planet on lease from our future generations and not from an ancestral property from our ancestors. So we should not forget to conserve it for ourselves and for future generations. Okay, it's our prime duty, it's our prime responsibility to save the nature, to protect the nature, to conserve the nature. Okay, we don't need to disturb the balance of the nature. Okay, because it is said that this earth as a planet, we have got it as on a lease from our future generation. So we need to keep for them, right? We don't need to spoil it. We don't need to make a misuse of it. Okay. We should save our environment. We should save our nature because nature is important for our existence. So we need to preserve our environment. So every year, the World Nature Conservation Day is being celebrated on 28th July. Okay, so on this day, many plantations are done. So I hope that you all may be also celebrating this. And every time we need to take a care as a responsibility that we need to conserve our nature. Okay, we need to protect our nature. We should not harm our nature. Okay, because whatever we will give it to the nature, it will come back to us, right? So we need to protect our nature as like our mother protects us. Yes or no? Our mother takes a care of us. So in the same way, this nature is like our mother. We need to take her care so that she takes our care. Okay. So we need to conserve our environment. So here we have completed with our today's point. Now we will go for a small question answer session. So I hope that you all have understood whatever I have taught you today. So on that basis, 4 questions are there. Just those who know the answers, just raise your hands and give the answers quickly. The very first question is, what is meant by an ecosystem? Can anyone tell me what is meant by an ecosystem? Those who are raising the hand, just unmute yourself and give the answer. Yes. What is meant by an ecosystem?
Ecosystem formed by biotic and abiotic factors and their interaction with each other.
Very good. An ecosystem, it is formed by the biotic and the abiotic factors and their interactions with each other. Very good. Next question is, which are the 2 main types of ecosystem? Which are the 2 main types of ecosystem?
टीचर मैं बोलूं?
One is natural environment and other artificial environment.
Yes, actually the question was there I need to write it environment instead of writing environment. It is written ecosystem. Yes, right. The two main types of environment are natural environment and artificial
And
environment.
other artificial.
Very good. Next question is, what is a food chain? What is a food chain we have learned? Yes, can anyone tell me what is a food chain? Just unmute yourself and give the answer. Participants, I can see you raising your hands. Just unmute yourself and give the answer. Yes.
Ma'am, can I?
What is yes, please.
A series of organisms each depend on the next as a source of food is called food chain.
Very good. In this chain, the organisms, they depend on one another for their food. Okay, so it is a series of chain in which the energy is transferred from one organism to the another. Very good. Next, what is a food web? The last and the best question. What is a food web? Yes, unmute yourself and give the answer.
A system of food chain that are related to and dependent of each other.
Yes, we can see that it is a web like in which one organism, it can serve as a food for many others and it forms an intricate web. Okay, so such a web, it is called as the food web. So I hope that you all have understood our today's point. Okay, so with this, we will end our today's session. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, please play the video.
Yes. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Students, thank you for today.